Have you ever dealt with someone so cunning, so masterful at playing with your emotions, that you felt like you were caught in a never-ending loop of self-doubt and confusion? What if I told you that one simple statement can make this type of person, what we call an evil narcissist, fear you forever? Because the moment you utter these words, you flip the script and dismantle the illusions they've built around you. That's exactly what we're exploring today, the key phrase that stops a manipulative narcissist dead in their tracks, and why it works so powerfully. Picture Caroline, a successful marketing exec who always tried to see the best in people. For months, she found herself ensnared by Neil, a charismatic colleague who turned out to be a textbook evil narcissist. He weaponized her empathy, constantly shifting blame and rewriting events to the point where Caroline questioned her own memory. It wasn't until she stumbled on a bit of advice, words that basically said, "I see you for who you are, and you can't hide anymore," that she recognized her hidden power. She tried it, calmly, one day when Neil cornered her with more twisted accusations. The result? He panicked, and from that moment on, things changed forever. If you felt that chilling frustration, being gaslit, undermined, or manipulated, and you suspect there's some way to reclaim your sanity, comment, "I've been there," below. Because it's easy to feel hopeless when an evil narcissist uses your strengths, like compassion or patience, against you. But as we'll see, clarity in a single statement can break their psychological grip. In this video, we'll dissect how an evil narcissist manipulates reality, why they rely on your silence, and how one phrase, underpinned by unwavering conviction, becomes their worst nightmare. We'll draw from Jordan Peterson's insights on truth and power, highlight a real-world case study, including rumored celebrity parallels, and map out how to wield this phrase responsibly, while keeping your mental and emotional well-being front and center. Let's dive in. Before we reveal the phrase, let's get a firm grasp on what we're dealing with. An evil narcissist isn't just someone who's self-absorbed. They're someone who actively uses deception, gaslighting, and manipulation as tools to maintain dominance. They distort reality to keep you guessing, to keep you unsure of what's true. Illusions and masks. Evil narcissists excel at crafting a public persona. Maybe they appear altruistic, or super competent, or the ultimate victim in every tale. In private, though, they're weaving webs of guilt, sowing chaos, and turning your vulnerabilities into ammo. Because you don't immediately see through the facade, you might question your own perceptions instead. Emotional exploitation. They rely on your reactions, be it fear, guilt, or an earnest attempt to fix a misunderstanding. If they can provoke an outburst or self-doubt, they're in control. They thrive on drawing you into drama, so they can rewrite the narrative and assign blame. Why they fear the truth. The entire structure of their power rests on illusions. They're terrified of exposure, someone plainly stating, "I see you, and I won't play your games." This undermines their carefully constructed house of cards. Jordan Peterson frequently underscores the idea that illusions can't withstand direct confrontation with truth. Once the illusions are seen for what they are, they collapse. Let's circle back to Caroline. She struggled because Neil manipulated not just facts, but her self-perception. He'd feign warmth one moment, then twist details the next, claiming she misremembered or was too emotional. Because she valued harmony and didn't want to accuse him falsely, she hesitated to push back. Every time she overlooked a red flag, he escalated. But once she recognized why he needed her confusion, she realized clarity, and stating it, would be her greatest weapon. If you find yourself resonating, feeling like you've been lured into endless drama, type, "No more drama." Acknowledging the manipulative cycle is the first step to dismantling it. And that sets the stage for the phrase we'll soon discuss. Let's delve deeper into Caroline's experience. She was well liked in her firm for her collaborative spirit and supportive attitude. That very trait drew Neil, the evil narcissist, toward her. Initially, he was unbelievably helpful, praising her ideas in meetings, volunteering to lighten her workload. But slowly, the dynamic flipped. Phase 1, subtle undermining. Neil began slipping in small criticisms, often masked as feedback. He'd claim a presentation style was off or suggest that people found her approach aggressive, though no one had said so. Caroline, eager to improve, took it to heart, adjusting her style, never questioning his source. Phase 2, gaslighting. Next, he started rewriting minor incidents. If Caroline recalled them differently, he'd dismiss her memory as flawed. Once, she confronted him about changing a key project detail without telling her. He insisted he had emailed her the day before, even though she never saw it. She wondered if it was in her spam folder or if she accidentally deleted it. Gradually, she mistrusted her own memory. Phase 3, escalation. Realizing she rarely fought back, Neil escalated. He took credit for her ideas in front of upper management, calling them just expansions on my original concept. In private, if she tried clarifying, he'd shift blame, "You're too sensitive, stop making everything about you." Each time she shrank, feeling, "Maybe I'm overreacting." Inside, Caroline felt an unnameable tension. She was anxious, losing sleep, rechecking emails, second-guessing. She disliked confrontation, so she kept silent, hoping Neil would stop if I show him I'm no threat. But evil narcissists don't just stop, they push further unless you push back. Eventually, she found a piece of advice online about directly naming what he was doing. That suggestion aligned with Jordan Peterson's emphasis on the power of articulating truth in the face of distortion. If you've personally encountered that slow creep of manipulation, starting so subtly you couldn't be sure, comment, "I understand." Caroline's scenario underscores how cunning an evil narcissist can be until you gather the courage to name it. So, what is this statement that can make an evil narcissist fear you forever? It boils down to an explicit, calm recognition that you see beyond their illusions. Something like, "I know exactly what you're doing, and it no longer works on me." Or it might be, "I see you for who you really are, your manipulations don't fool me anymore." The exact wording can vary, but the essence is you're publicly acknowledging their deception, signaling you won't be drawn into their twisted narrative. Let's break down why it's so potent. Exposing the illusion. By naming their manipulation, you remove the secret advantage that they're counting on, your confusion or fear of labeling their behavior. Narcissists fear direct confrontation with truth because they can't easily dismiss it once stated plainly. Refusal to engage in endless deflection. This phrase implies you won't keep debating their versions of events or apologizing. You're not telling them, "Please stop," you're telling them, "I'm not playing along." That starves them of the emotional chaos they feed on. Demonstration of self-trust. One reason narcissists can manipulate is because you might doubt yourself. By saying, "I know your game," you signal unwavering self-confidence. Jordan Peterson often remarks that stating the truth out loud reorders power dynamics. You recast yourself from unsure participant to someone who sees reality clearly. Unspoken boundary. The statement also conveys a boundary, "This is done." Without needing to shout or threaten, you show you see their pattern and won't enable it. That boundary is terrifying for them because they rely on boundaryless interactions. Caroline's pivotal moment came when she calmly told Neil, "I've noticed how you twist details, and I'm not confused by it anymore." She didn't scream. She kept her tone measured. Neil's reaction was immediate, a flash of anger, then frantic backpedaling. That fear arises from losing the grip of illusions. If you see how naming the manipulation can crumble the narcissist's power, type, "Name it, tame it." Because calling out their game is the start of regaining your mental freedom. It's not just the words themselves, but how you say them. Evil narcissists are experts at picking up hesitation, guilt, or fear. So, the second crucial factor is your delivery. Stay composed. Narcissists want a big reaction, yelling, tears, or stammering. That emotional chaos gives them room to maneuver. By being calm, you show them your clarity can't be shaken. If they hurl insults, remain unflustered. "I know your game," or "your distortions don't affect me," is best said in a calm, matter-of-fact tone. Avoid over-explaining. Once you name it, don't launch into a prolonged justification. Keep it short. Narcissists love to drag you into debates, flipping your words. The power is in brevity, like a line from Jordan Peterson about truth: once spoken, you don't need to repeat it. Your stance is clear. Hold eye contact, if safe. If it's safe and you're in a scenario where you can do so, direct eye contact can amplify the message. It conveys unwavering confidence. But always prioritize personal safety. If you suspect a violent reaction, maintain distance, or do it in a setting that's more secure. Expect retaliation. Evil narcissists often escalate. They might attempt guilt-tripping, "I can't believe you'd accuse me," shifting blame, or new gaslighting. Anticipate that. Don't waver. If you let them sense you're second-guessing yourself, they'll re-engage manipulation. Reassert calmly, "I see what you're doing. I'm not discussing it further." When Caroline confronted Neil, she spoke quietly, "Your version of events keeps changing, and I've realized you do it to confuse me. I'm not confused anymore." She paused, then returned to her work. Neil tried to incite an argument, but she refused to debate, repeating only, "I'm not playing along," before walking away. That ended Neil's usual advantage. If you find it tough to stand firm after naming the truth, remember that planning the conversation or choosing a secure environment helps. Type "steady and sure" if you believe calm conviction trumps loud confrontation. Because a composed "I see you" can outmatch the narcissist's theatrics. Jordan Peterson often underscores that naming uncomfortable truths is a powerful act of realigning yourself with reality and severing illusions. In many of his talks, he points out that refusing to speak the truth fosters more confusion, allowing destructive power structures to thrive. For an evil narcissist, illusions are the foundation of their control. They rely on half-truths, manipulative stories, and your reluctance to confront them head-on. Peterson's perspective suggests that by explicitly stating the reality, "I see what you're doing," you publicly reject their illusions. You no longer accept the false premises they use to keep you in confusion or submission. Moreover, Peterson's view on personal responsibility resonates here. Evil narcissists want you to doubt yourself to the point you blame yourself for everything. But the moment you acknowledge, "I'm not responsible for your manipulations, I see them," you step into the Peterson-esque stance of personal authority. You decide you won't bear guilt for another's twisted behavior. This realignment of moral responsibility is terrifying to the narcissist because it dismantles their go-to tactic of blame shifting and guilt invocation. Additionally, Peterson's discussions on order versus chaos come into play. Narcissists push you into emotional chaos, where they can maintain order, dominance, over you. Declaring the truth out loud effectively imposes order from your side, pushing back the chaos. That's psychologically potent. The narcissist's fear emerges because they realize you're claiming your territory, the mental space they tried to occupy. If you appreciate how Peterson's themes of truth and self-assertion tie into calling out a narcissist's illusions, comment, "Truth is power." Because that's exactly the dynamic. By aligning with the real truth, you neutralize the narcissist's false narratives. Why do we label some narcissists as evil? Narcissism can manifest in many degrees, but an evil narcissist typically involves a more malicious, vindictive streak. They might derive pleasure from watching you squirm in confusion or pain. Deliberately sabotage your relationships or career. Show no remorse for causing harm, sometimes they relish it. When dealing with a regular narcissist, calling them out might lead to anger or denial. But with an evil narcissist, the reaction can be more volatile or cunning. They see your confrontation as a direct threat to their carefully nurtured persona of power. Expect extreme retaliation tactics. They may attempt to smear your reputation or sabotage your personal life if they sense you truly see them. Because they cannot bear losing their mask, they go on the offensive. Calculated emotional warfare. They might orchestrate events to isolate you, or launch bigger gaslighting campaigns, hoping to bury your credibility. They do not want others believing your version of the truth. Swift discard. Alternatively, some evil narcissists quickly discard someone who's no longer manipulable, moving on to new supply rather than salvage the old relationship. They want a docile victim, not a challenger. Hence, while your statement of truth does quell their hold on you, be prepared for backlash. They fear exposure, and fear often triggers desperate moves. That's why it's crucial you maintain emotional composure and possibly take pragmatic steps, like documenting events, confiding in trustworthy allies, to protect yourself if they lash out. If you understand the difference, why evil narcissists can be especially vindictive, comment, stay safe. Because shining a light on manipulative darkness is powerful, but you must also guard your mental and physical well-being. Let's reference a rumored celebrity scenario that underscores the potency of naming the truth. A well-known actress, admired for her philanthropic work and approachable public image, allegedly found herself entangled with a controlling partner, someone rumored to be an evil narcissist. Early in the relationship, everything sparkled with charm. Over time, though, the partner's manipulations surfaced. He'd belittle her causes privately, shame her for small mistakes, then turn affectionate in public for photo ops. According to gossip, the tipping point came when she calmly confronted him at a private gathering. Instead of tears or pleas, she uttered something akin to, "I know exactly how you manipulate and I'm done pretending." Witnesses claimed his face dropped. The carefully orchestrated social facade cracked. He tried the usual tactics, acting wounded, painting her as hysterical, but she refused to budge. She ended the relationship soon after, opting not to publicly smear him but not backing down from her stance either. This rumored story demonstrates how a single statement, "I see your game," delivered with conviction can unravel a carefully spun web. The partner allegedly scrambled to salvage his public persona, but insiders claimed he never regained that absolute hold on her. She left, forging an independent path. If you see a parallel, someone revered for kindness quietly cutting ties after a moment of raw truth, comment, "I get it." Because standing in truth, without fanfare or prolonged arguments, can be the most definitive way to dethrone an evil narcissist. We've dissected how a single phrase, something like, "I see you for who you really are, and your manipulations don't work on me anymore," can shake an evil narcissist to their core. But how do you execute this effectively, and what comes after? Let's outline some practical steps. Prepare yourself mentally. Before confronting them, ground yourself in the truth. List out the manipulations or gaslighting incidents you've observed. Remind yourself you are not crazy or too sensitive. You see a pattern. If you can, talk to a trusted friend or counselor. Having external validation that yes, the manipulations are real, boosts your confidence. Choose a safe context. Evil narcissists can lash out fiercely when threatened with exposure. If you suspect potential aggression or smear tactics, pick a time and place where you feel safer, maybe a semi-public environment or a scenario where you can easily leave. Alternatively, you might deliver the statement through a well-crafted email or message, ensuring you remain physically safe. Safety first, always. Deliver the statement briefly, calmly. Keep it short, "I see what you're doing. I'm no longer confused or controlled by it." The power lies in your unwavering calm, not the volume of your words. Resist the urge to elaborate. A monologue invites them to deflect or drag you into an argument. Less is more. Expect escalation, stay composed. They might rage, cry, or switch to sweet talk. They could threaten to ruin your reputation or claim you're the abuser. Your job is to maintain your stance, "I will not argue about it further. I know the truth." If they push you, remain stoic or remove yourself physically. Emphasize you're done playing the role of confused victim. Document and secure support. If they retaliate with lies or threats, keep records of interactions. Lean on friends, family, or professional help for emotional backing. This ensures you're less likely to fold under pressure. Embrace the aftermath. Telling the narcissist you see through them often triggers them to shift focus to new targets or attempt to publicly smear you. Don't chase them. Don't battle on their terms. Stand by the truth you stated. Your emotional liberation comes from no longer being entangled in their illusions, consistent with Jordan Peterson's philosophy. Once you speak truth, you realign your life with reality, independent of the manipulator's distortions. Key conclusion. That single statement, "I see you," is more than words. It's an act of releasing yourself from their twisted version of reality. It's powerful precisely because it says you're free and they no longer set the narrative. Evil narcissists fear that clarity because illusions are their main weapon. When illusions shatter, so does their power. If this resonates, if you feel the tension in your own life of confronting a controlling figure, type, "I choose clarity." Because clarity is the kryptonite of an evil narcissist. And remember, you hold the key. They rely on your confusion and compliance. The second you say, "I see your deception," you pull away the rug from under them. Calm, steady, short. That's how you claim your mental freedom. Thank you for watching. If you've learned something about naming the truth and stepping away from the manipulator stage, consider applying these steps responsibly. Be safe, gather support, and never forget, you have the right to define your own reality. An evil narcissist can only control what you refuse to see. Now that you see it, their fear of exposure becomes your strongest shield.